really good to be here. There are some faces here that we do recognise. There's a few I recognise, and a few you recognise?
Indeed.
There are. So we're going to follow that really informative talk, so hopefully this one won't be a disappointment. I was busy writing lots of notes down, so I apologise for not having a blank sheet of paper. I am Sara Guile and this is Nicky Chisholm, and together we are the co-directors of the Mumpreneurs Networking Club, or more colloquially known as MNC. We are an in real life networking group. We get about between 300 and 400 people through our doors every single month, and we back that up and we echo that with our online communities. And today we are going to tell you why and how we believe that it's really important to build that online community. Our community is online and offline. We have meetings and events and workshops. We used to have very successful Twitter hours. We've moved that over slowly. We do try, don't we, to keep up with trends. We don't always manage it, but we do try. And so we have moved what were our very successful Twitter hours, and we've moved it over currently to Facebook Live. So you'll see a few of those going on. And we're always looking for ways to engage our community. It's a never-ending mission, isn't it, Nicky?
It is. When you've got a community, you need to be aware of the constant energy, the constant education, the constant content for that community. So you have to be aware of that and always be on the lookout. So today, for all of you, photographs of you guys in this room is a good thing. I'm out and I'm about, look what I'm doing. So it's a great way to collect content. Always be aware of collecting content for your community. I just wanted to say, do you think this would be alright on our LinkedIn profile picture? No. Fair enough. Right, Sara, what's it today all about?
Right, what we're going to tell you about today is how to harness the power of an online community. We're going to cover why you should have an online community, how you build that online community, and why an online community is good for business. We'll show you some visual examples throughout. We're really good at collecting stuff to show you what we're doing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but hopefully it will spark some ideas for you. More than ever, Nicky and I, in January, we were invited to go to a Facebook Gather event, which was a massive event held in Dublin by Facebook. All expenses paid, thank you very much. And the one thing that resonated with us, the one thing that stood out at that particular event was when Facebook said, more than ever now, you can have the same space as the big boys. You can have the same space as, I don't know, Budweiser or the BBC. You can have a page in social media or a group or a community on social media that you don't have to pay for. So you can compete. More than ever now, you can take that same space. Obviously, it'll take you longer to build up your community, but you can do it.
So
Nicky.
one of the things that was echoed with Sian is all about social proof. All the time when Sara and I run events, when we do our networking meetings, when we do our Facebook Lives, we have lots of photographs because we want to make it really obvious and have a strong visual impact to our community. When people look at a photograph, they automatically think, oh, busy, lots of people, that must be good. They make those assumptions straight away. So even though I can be a Facebook Live or I can be writing something, we use a lot of visuals to show what we're doing and where we're at. So it's something to put in your toolbox from today. We want to give you lots of ideas and spark creative things. Well, I can do that, I can do this. Some of them are sublime to the ridiculous, which is what we've done, but just pick some of them that can ignite what you can use for your business. So here's, for example, an online community is all about basically reaching out. It's like a fisherman, so you're throwing out your net and you're reeling in different people. It's all about reaching people that wouldn't necessarily know about you. The Mumpreneurs Networking Club was originally set up 10 years ago because we've got 5 kids between us and we couldn't network with the average networking meetings there either in the morning or late at night. So we just thought, okay, well, let's set up our own one. Now, 30,000 people later, we have a huge online community. It's taken us a long time to grow, and I think that's another thing that we want to say. Don't think you can have a community by Friday. It takes time and it takes effort, it takes tears, it takes money, it takes energy to build and harness and constantly create that community. We're constantly looking for for new ideas. So think about it as your stage for you. You're in the middle of your stage, and what we want, I've got a
Props.
and I want people to be constantly going, look at your business. So think of these little pointers, and you're thinking, right, look at Sean, look at Sean, Meg, look at Meg, look at Rachel. That's your stage. That's your stage. That's the idea of your community. So think about arrows above your head or above your business.
But also, those online communities can change as well, like they can in real life. Our community started out as mums in business, sole traders, mums in business. As that decade's gone on, we've got bigger business involved, and actually we're not fussy if you're not a business mum. Animal, mineral or vegetable, we'll take your money. You want to join our community in real life, we'll take your money. You want to join us online, it's free.
It's all about, again, the reinforcing connection. So we have our meetings. At every meeting, we take a photograph of everybody in the room, a group shot like that, and then we tag everybody. So one photograph, and you're tagging maybe 20 or 30 people, and it makes them easy for them to connect. So we're echoing and reinforcing what we're doing in real life. And that one photo, underneath, you've then got likes, shares, comments, my blogs, my link to my Facebook page, my link to my Twitter, whatever. So it's creating that energy, and we're making it easy for our community to do that. So Sean today has made it easy for us to connect using LinkedIn. It's reinforcing and echoing what you're doing it and making it super, super easy for your clients to connect with each other.
Moving on.
Right. How do you build your community? Now, this is something we've worked really hard at, and we use sublime to the ridiculous. So, for example, we said we had James Bond coming along to a meeting, and this James Bond, I can't tell you how many people loved him. They just loved having him in James Bond in the room. So the whole concept behind the meeting was you're on a mission. So what's your mission for your business? Every single one of us here has a mission. We're always on a mission. Is it more clients? Is it more money? Is it more LinkedIn connections? So what's your mission? So we brought James Bond along, and we had James Bond Day, so we had different things go out across the day on social media, and people engaged with it, they loved it, they were following it. It was something silly. So what could you use in your business? If anyone wants to borrow James Bond, using my car, so you can have him.
But that's a really prime example of how I thought that was the worst idea ever. A cardboard cutout of Daniel Craig. I thought it was a ridiculous idea, but Nicky, being Nicky, believes in things like that, so she brought it along. So, and it, to my
horror,
it really worked. So don't be afraid to try things to build your online community as well. If they don't work, it is only social media. You can move past it. No one will remember it was a flop. They'll only remember the good things very quickly. It moves very fast. So that's an example of trying something out, and it starts.
And
it was a hit.
What we try to do is to reward our super fans. So we have we have our brand ambassadors. We've got a whole team of our brand ambassadors. So we basically pick from our community people that were super active online, super active at the meetings, engaged constantly, and we said, right, we love you, you're one of our super fans, we got them in a room like today, so we got them all here, they all had a meet up with James Bond, and then what we've done is reward the brilliant ones within here. So we basically took them along to a meeting, and we said, right, the best brand ambassadors in this room are you two. You're off for a flight. So they walked out of that room. We got them up flying over Sussex, and they were Facebook living from an aeroplane over Sussex. The social media went mad. It was really good fun. One of them was sick. She did feel really poorly when she was up there. But it was an idea. It wasn't that expensive. It was literally under £100 per person. But the idea behind it is we're flying high, we're reaching for the skies, what can you be doing? These aren't expensive, they're just ways to spark ideas to get you to think outside the box. So and it did work really well. She did love it.
She did love it, apart from throwing up. Some more ideas for building your community. You need to know what resonates with your community, and James Bond did for us. And give people a reason to join in as well. Provide, as Sian said, social proof. which just means sort of recording those testimonials or those kinds of things. So the one thing that we have been playing over the summer with inspirational quotes, and we've shoved them in with sort of business quotes and quotes that resonate with our community. Now, they weren't entirely our idea to come away from the more business quotes and put more generalised quotes in. So, for example, you'll see this one here. It did really well over the summer, and we have had ones that have gone, that have actually reached more than 49,000 people. So it is worth playing around. And there is someone in the room. Put your hand up if you're very good at advising people to mix up their quotes on social media.
Who did this?
That was me.
Yes.
So if you're not sure what to do, find an expert to help you find what resonates with your community. You think you know your community, but it is always worth getting a really good outside opinion to help you do that.
One of the other things that we did on really worked. Again, it was a little bit outside the box. We had a what was it called when they all sing in the street? They just pop up. A flash mob. We did a flash mob in the street, and that one particular post got over 100,000. So it's like, it doesn't cost a lot of money. We don't have a huge marketing budget, so we're super creative instead. So we had a massive flash mob. We just called up a friend and said, can you come and sing? They all come and sang with us, and that got one post 100,000. And of course, Sara and I at home just going, oh my God, look, it's so exciting. Because it's basically spreading the word. It's social proof. We are out there. We are leading the way in a community, and it did really work. We do have, so what we decided to do now with Facebook Lives, we're going to have one a month. And as we get better at them, we've practiced setting them up in our kitchen, we've practiced them set up in a back room, but they look brilliant. If anyone wants to see what we're actually doing behind the scenes, they go, oh my God. But who cares? As long as we're presenting really professionally, it doesn't matter. Don't get in your own way that you don't have all the right stuff. It just doesn't matter. Yes, brush your hair, put some makeup on, put nice clothes on, make sure the backdrop looks good, the ironing's not out. There's some simple stuff you need to do, and practice. We practiced and and we're better at it.
You're really good at being a perfectionist. You say, right, this must look like this, and this must look like that, and you like it to look super professional. But actually, sometimes people just want to see what's going on, and I think it's all right if your hair's not brushed. Sometimes, it can work. It can work. So don't be afraid of trying it just because you haven't got the kit, and just because you're not
just use your
a
smartphone.
Super perfectionist. Give it a try.
Who's this one? Right, how to build. No, next one. Who's this?
Is that me or you?
I'll start. So, how to build your community. The next thing we do is finding a team. It's really hard work just having you, or just you or you. It's really nice when you. I know. So Sian's got her partner. Meg's got her partner, Sara and I. It's really nice, but try and find a broader team. So let's say, for example, any of you guys here, you could say, right, who fancies Christmas mince pies and meet up? So collect, call some of your 5 people that you do the most business with. Right, let's go down the pub. So create a team. It's so hard doing it on your own. And also when you're having a beer or a glass of wine or a cup of tea, naturally you think, that's a good idea, or that's a good idea, or I like that. There is energy and there's creativity because you can bounce off each other. Sometimes I say stuff to Sara and she goes, that's a terrible idea. And sometimes she says, okay, I'll let you do that one. So
occasionally you've got to let somebody go with an idea. You can't just keep saying no. But after Sian's brilliant talk, we'll all be a bit more connected on LinkedIn. So and you will find natural, I don't know whether I should use the word bedfellows, but you'll find people that you naturally get along with, that you could do something to build your online communities with.
Do something that's unexpected. So over the last few years, Sara and I, every year we make sure that we pick a charity and we do a ridiculous charity event. So this is, Sara, where's this? Where are you?
Top of Arundel Castle. It's very high up. It's 180 feet and it's a bloody long way down.
And we have got video footage of Sara's legs, and because they were out there and she's got little legs, she couldn't actually reach the castle walls. So she was one of the very few that dangled all the way down. And we got all the crowds around the bottom. We had great photographs, we had great videos, the kids were there. We always work with a charity, so we had charity t-shirts on. It just worked really well. Again, it's not expensive. Yes, it takes time and effort, but it was a good way for us to be unique content into the community. So look at what we're doing and you can have a go as well. It's just that unique content. And then this one here was our most ridiculous thing that we've done to date. We were wing walking. So in the summer, both Sara and I were strapped to the top of a aeroplane going at 130 miles an hour. And I can tell you that your cheeks wobble like you do not believe. It was
and your jaw hurts for a long time afterwards.
So for our community, we engaged the community. We had sponsors, we had blogs from them, we were interviewing the sponsors, so it's unique content. It didn't cost us anything. We had this was the 16 of us. Each of us had a fundraising target to raise. That concept of team, it just gave energy. So when you're posting pictures, there's 16 of you that comment and share automatically. On top of that, you've got family, you've got friends, and you've got your sponsors, and you've got the sponsors people as well. So you're filtering it down into a much wider community. Just from that one group of 16 people, it goes out much wider. So find ways of connecting with people and putting you all together.
I mean, clearly you don't have to do something that is that mad. You don't have to be standing on the top of a 1930s biplane hurtling through the air at 136 miles an hour, but that particular event probably built more goodwill, more energy, and got new followers in our online communities than anything has done for a good couple of years, I would say.
Because it's
It's
unique.
worth thinking about unique things that you can do and trying them. They won't all work, but some do.
And we're not saying for you to go out and do it on a biplane. It's just trying to ignite what are you good at, what resonates with you, and how can you do something.
And the other thing you could do, Sean mentioned that LinkedIn likes hashtags. I think we used a hashtag, didn't we? We invented one for the event that got shared around and throughout all the different communities that we were in.
It's also, again, what Sean said, echoing, it's about visibility. I mean, you're going to be visible hanging down Arundel Castle, you're going to be visible when you've got James Bond. It's the unique visibility. So think about being visible. Most of us, to be fair, probably don't like doing the Facebook Lives, but you've got still photos and you're still being visible and you're still doing something. Okay, so the next one.
So, we have talked about how we've built our community, but what you need to find out really, and what you need to, what we'll tell you about how it's been good for our business, but why is it good for business? Why is building that online community good for business? Well, it offers you the opportunity to collect and provide social proof, so those all important testimonials, or those all important screenshots. We had an event in Brighton, how many years ago? 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was 3 years ago. And on that particular day, we called it MNC Live, and on that particular day in the southeast area, we trended above the hashtag Brexit and Article 50. For a short amount of time, not forever, but that's because we got our online community involved in a real life event that we were doing at that time. And that's a really nice thing to tell people who want to work with you. It's good for business because it creates a loyal fan base, and if you've got a loyal fan base, it provides lots of energy. And there's so many examples of that on Instagram with big brands that you can just, if you see a big brand doing really well and people are getting involved and engaging with them, go and ape it, go and model it, see what they're doing, see if it'll work for you. Obviously you'll do it in your style and your voice. Sorry, I've got that back to you most of the time. But go and model it. If they're doing it well, they must know what they're doing. So, take some leaves after their books and model it. And it's an easy way for your customers to engage with you and also with each other, which again provides that energy, which is really important.
This photo here, what we do, all the time, we're looking at what's trending. So this particular one, we were looking at, they were a group of women called the Ice Maidens, and they were doing a particular unique trek. I think it was in Antarctica. So we were following that, and then I think it was a couple of months we were following them, and it was trending. So what we wanted to do, this particular photo, we congratulated them on that day. We happened to be together doing an event like this, and we said, right, the Ice Maidens, they've got to Antarctica, it's taken them 2 months, we've been following them and commenting on them, and then we posted that saying, go on girls, you've done really well, we're right behind you, Ice Maidens. So we were able to piggyback on somebody else's coattails, not in a like a stalkery, horrible tone way. We were just saying, girls, well done. So be ready to jump on anything. Again, like you said in LinkedIn, what comes in, it's topical. Whatever pops up in your industry, have something that's ready to go. With us, we often hear the whole term mumpreneur. Oh, it's a terrible word. We hate it. It puts you in a box. So we've got a whole load of stuff ready to go. Well, actually, it works. Here's the stats. Here's the research. Here's current research by NatWest. So we're ready to go pow and jump on it. So there may be something in your industry that you could have ready to go that comes up fairly regularly, or you know, for example, there's somebody coming to your area to do a talk, or there's a film coming out, or just be ready to be on the lookout, or have your radar going, oh, this is good, and then you jump on and you start a conversation. So it's visibility and starting the conversation in your community.
And that's where an online community can help you as well. They will suggest ideas and they'll help you spread those ideas as well.
So your community is all about your shop window. We've talked about your stage, we've talked about you want people pointing. So is LinkedIn pointing to you? Is your Instagram pointing to you? Are your blogs pointing to you? Is your website, what's pointing to you? It's your shop window. So thinking of your shop window, you've got to make sure you're changing it, because people, I mean, how bored do we all get? We flip through. What do they call it? The thumb flicking? When you're scrolling, it needs to be fresh. So think about changing, you know, you're in front of your website, your blog, you can change your Twitter profiles, like your LinkedIn profiles. It's your shop window. So make people think, oh, look, there's something new. Everybody here should have something new. Whether or not Meg's got a new workshop, whether you've got your new training session, whether normally you've got one of your classes, it's all new. You have visual content. Make sure you're using it. I'm sure most of you do loads of things. Today you can have a couple of photos. Look where I'm at, look what I'm doing. I'm out and about. You're showing your expertise, you're showing you're out, you're showing you're doing something. It's showing what you're doing in the day, in the life of your business. You know how brilliant you are, but you've got to get out into the world and tell us how brilliant you are. And you have to spoon feed us. So you have to show your social proof, your photographs, your stats, your testimonials, do any of you use Google? What have we just started using? Google My Business. So you can use recommendations on there. So again, it's just looking at social proof. And when somebody looks at you for the first time in your shop window, they're going, oh, it's updated. Oh, it looks exciting and new.
And you know, if you're building an online community, they will help you do that. So that's why it's really important to build an engaged online community of a tribe that will have your back, really.
This photograph here, basically one night about 2 o'clock in the morning, I thought, right, I've seen a bus, I want to have this bus. So I tweeted NatWest and I said, I've seen your bus, can we borrow it for a couple of days? Thinking they'd just ignore me, but they didn't. They came back the next day and they said, right, you want the bus, put your proposal to us, tell us what you want us to do. So to be fair, we kind of made it up as we went along. We just sent it in. I'd like to say we took hours over it, but we didn't. We just, this is exciting. Banged it off, and they said, right, okay, you've got the bus for 4 days. So we took it on a tour. So visibility, bus tour across 4 cities, 4 days. It was completely bonkers. It was ridiculous, but we had hundreds and hundreds of people come through. So we were being brave. One tweet in the middle of the night, and it basically started a whole process of, you've got a community. I mean, you can't ignore that bus. It's just, I fell in love with the bus. I just fell in love with it. It was brilliant. Everyone completely loved it. Inside with the likes of Meg, we had people giving advice on blogging, on absolutely everything to do with business. It was a reason to draw your community in. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, come in. So what could you do? You could have a night here together. You could have a quiz night. You could have a workshop.
And you've probably got much better ideas than Nikki for your communities, because you will know, as you build your online community, probably what will resonate and what won't. I mean, obviously there are random ideas that hit the mark and you just don't realise they're going to, but you will know what ideas will resonate with your online community as you start building it. It might not be the blooming bus that got us into so much trouble that day with that blasted
Confetti.
Confetti.
But you could have like I say, go to Norma. I know you've got a facility. You can just have like you know you're bringing everyone into your classes.
Yeah.
It's just a way of a free class. Bring them in. So some of you have the facilities already. Just make them work for you. You have lots of lunches, don't you? You have everybody together in a big room, so you're already getting a crowd. And I do see some of your brilliant photographs. So it's a way of bringing people together. You have a community. I do understand that they're not all going to be online because they're obviously a lot older, but nevertheless there is a community there. Right, so what's next? So we use a lot of visual proof with, so we want to make sure that the photographs are a representative of what we're doing day in and day out of business. So when people see that, that's our shop window, they think, right, there's people, they're networking, there's men, there's women, there's young, there's old, there's kids. We've even had a couple of dogs to a meeting, which is very random, but there we go. So don't be afraid to, get your photographs up and regularly update them.
And obviously make sure that everyone is happy with that photograph going up. In our communities, both online and in real life, most people know that we are going to be doing that. We always let people know, and very occasionally we get somebody who doesn't want to be identified because they're supposed to be at, I don't know, parent governors meeting or something, and they don't want to be ousted, or they're supposed to be in Dublin for some work thing and they decided, oh, screw that, I'm not bothering. So just make sure they want to know. But if you can gather those photographs, and if you can talk to your community and engage with your community while you're building it online, then they will also provide energy and content for you to use in your online community. It needs consistency, it needs a lot of energy, but actually, while you're building that and while that is feeding into your business, those people that you are engaging will help you keep that up. So it's really important to start building it, and then it's not such a trial to do it on your own, because you've got everything to do in your business. It's just yet another thing you've got to build up in your business. You've got to add LinkedIn to the list now, and now building your online communities. But once you start doing it, it does take consistency, as Sian said earlier, but actually that community, it will start to take on a momentum of its own, and that will feed in that energy, and that will help you, and it won't be such a trial.
Just while we've been talking, is there any ideas that have been sparked by anyone, or have they got something that has worked that you can share to basically give more ideas to the group? Is there anything that you think, right, okay, I've been inspired, I'm going to do this, or actually I've got something that worked really well for me and I'm happy to share with the group? Is there anybody?
I can just think of like other people I can put together. I was just thinking about, as you were talking about bringing your customers together, doing that, I was immediately thinking of what they could do with talking to them. So that's something I can facilitate, but maybe facilitate it in a social setting so that you can get more people there.
Absolutely, because I do believe in business, what goes around comes around. She's good at what she does, okay, and people remember you.
And if you can do it online as well, you can reach a bit further.
Can I just say, it's lovely to see you two, and thank you for the MMC, because without that I wouldn't be sitting here 2 years later, and my business is absolutely
right.
brilliant.
Testimonial, write it down.
No, but I've got it's our 1 year anniversary on the 12th of October, and I'm Janice from the Glamour Club, you know. So we don't just provide lunches. But we've got the programme director from the Centre of Ageing Better coming down from London, because they've just won 10 years worth of lottery funding, and we know that because I work in mental health, that's what I do the last 10 years, we know that we've got an ageing population, and we're not ready. So one of the things that I'm working with one of the top academic people is on social platforms for people who are from 45 upwards. You know, so not to say that people, we're going to be using it as a tool to make sure that people of those age brackets are less socially isolated. So running the Glamour Club, I know that people who would normally exclude themselves from that because that was a newfangled thing for young people, actually it's drawing people into these online communities because they're socially isolated.
Yeah,
So
I
just-
think online communities in your line of work
Yeah,
are
it's
really
wonderful.
valuable for people.
Yeah,
Because
Really
it draws them in.
valuable.
It's, just, it's sometimes a gateway. So they look at what's going on in the community and then think, I would really like to be doing that. I would like to be doing that. I could have a go. And it's a gateway into your business, into your community. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Much
thank
appreciated.
you.
Anyone else got any ideas?
I'm working with somebody at the moment. They're celebrating 20 years in business this year, which is a fashion business. And they're looking at booking, well, they've put a proposal together to book the local cinema privately and put on a red carpet screening of The Devil Wears Prada as kind of a night out,
Great
drinks,
idea.
nibbles. But that will all be put out through social media with people walking the red carpet, photo opportunities. Maybe we need to borrow James Bond. But then, so that will be.
He has a fee, he has an appearance fee.
Yeah, appearance fee. So that will be their kind of offline, going online, and some live streaming from the event. But then they want to build that into an online community group where they can keep putting like fashion sneak peeks and hints and
It's
tips
a great idea.
afterwards. So
Really
that's
good
quite
idea.
exciting, going from offline
Yeah.
to online.
Well, it kind of feeds. That's what we're trying to. All the stuff we do in real life, it feeds
Yeah.
online, or online feels back into real life. Anyone else got any ideas? Maggie? Okay, that is it. Thank you so much. If you want to get hold of us, there is how you can get involved with Mumpreneurs, and that's just if you're worried. The Upside Down House in Brighton, a very random shot. If you know what it's. Do you know the Upside Down House? There we go.
On Brighton
So
Seafront.
thank you very much.
Thank you for
Nicky and
listening.
Sara.